So yeah, basically, I'm gonna go over a presentation on like kind of navigating W.P. Carey School of Business, admission, minor certificates, and maybe some alternate plans for students that don't have a 3.0 GPA. And also look at a couple other universities in the state briefly. I've worked for the last 8 years at W.P. Carey, so I'm very heavy ASU influenced. I hope it's not biased, but that's just what I know. So that's what I kind of present, and most of our students are heading toward ASU anyway. So I'm a student services analyst in the business FOI here at Scottsdale Community College. And then prior to that, I was assistant director and academic advisor for the W.P. Carey Upper Division advising team. So I mostly work with junior and senior students and all the transfer students coming in on that team as well. For a lot of students, business majors are parent and self-improve exploratory. That's just kind of a statement that's up there. So again, Chris, I'm not sure that it applies to you at all, but here's the direct admission requirements for W.P. Carey. So it's if you've taken classes at ASU, so even if you were there at ASU 10 years ago and then came to the community college, they're still gonna look at that 3.0 ASU GPA for direct admission. Also then a 3.0 transfer GPA, and those are both for all W.P. Carey majors. So basically, that's one direct admission criteria. So the next admission criteria for BS majors, so those are the traditional business majors like accounting, finance, management, marketing. They also want either a 25 ACT or a 1230 SAT. But if you took the SAT before March of 2016, it's an 1160. Or they want a 3.6 high school A-board GPA, which is basically your math and sciences, some more your hard academic classes from Arizona, or top 8% of your high school graduating class. So direct admission is 3.0 ASU GPA if you ever had classes from there, 3.0 transfer GPA, and they'll factor in all your transfer work for that transfer GPA, and then one of the other criteria. For the ACT, if you don't have it, a lot of times for transfer students, when I work with transfer students coming into W.P. Carey, W.P. Carey offers a residual ACT. Basically what that means is it's an ACT given at ASU, but they only use it for ASU purposes.
I see.
So if you wanted to send it to University of Colorado or U of A, you couldn't do it. But if you hang out after the test, they'll actually tell you what your score is right there.
Okay.
So you'll know if you've got the 25 immediately. And then if you need, they'll put that in the system that night. And then the next day, if you could change your major to finance if you needed the test score. Residual ACT is given like once or twice a week. So it's something that's very easy to take. And you can take it as many times as you want. You just have to wait 6 weeks between each time. And then with that residual ACT is a lot of companies will offer, like they're trying to sell you their course to up your ACT scores, but they'll give practice ACT exams online for free. So that's a good way to prep, is to go in and look at those. Maybe you can pick up a ACT prep book off Amazon or Barnes and Nobles or something. But that's a good way to prep. Usually you'll do better since you've been in college, you've got some calculus, so typically you'll do better on the ACT than if you took it whenever you were
At the high school level.
High school.
Right.
And that's whether you have a gap or not. So just keep that in mind as well. The portfolio is the only means of appeal if you do not meet the admission requirements. So basically for WPC portfolio admissions, your GPA should be as close to 3.0 as possible.
Is that the current GPA?
Your transfer GPA, you want it to be as close to 3.0 as possible.
Okay.
If it's a 2.0, a 2.2, your chances probably aren't good unless 15 years ago, you were failing everything, and now, like, everything you're doing is an A.
Mm-hmm.
So again, the portfolio is basically the way to address any deficiencies in the admissions process. They also look at the skill course GPA. So that would be, they look at your GPA in CIS 105, brief calc, math or business analysis, financial accounting, managerial accounting, macro, micro, econ, and stats as well. So they're also going to look at that skill course GPA also. If you're doing the portfolio process, maybe the first way to clean up a transcript is by doing like medical compassionate withdrawals first. So even if in your past you've had like a semester of really bad grades, if there was something going on medically at that time, or family, possibly a death in the family or something, there's ways to kind of clean up a transcript if that happened with documentation. So keep that in mind as well. And you want to show that with the portfolio that you've demonstrated upward change in GPA. Like again, if you had a bad freshman year, but your grades are better now, or if you were another major and then switched to business, or if you were here 10 years ago and you just weren't ready for college, now you've refocused and you've got the maturity to do it or whatever. But in that portfolio, you'll have a 500-word essay, and that's what you want to address in that essay.
Okay.
So it's like, okay, hey, I was in college in 2005, I was really not focused, I wasn't sure what my major was, I was distracted, I came back in 2017, now I'm focused, and my grades from that point on have been this.
I see.
So that's what you want to focus on if you have the portfolio. So you address that in the essay. It's a 500-word essay, so it's not a lot of time. So again, just be concise on that. And again, if you're in that position, like when do you want to transfer?
Probably by next year, because I'm taking my accounting next in the spring.
Spring, okay. So set up an individual appointment with me, and we can kind of look over this stuff and definitely go from there as well. So the skill course for portfolio, so you'll graduate in spring from here with the A-bus, and you're thinking about transferring to ASU in the fall.
Yes, because I already have those classes done. I'm taking the GPS 221 right now.
Okay. So the only class on there you need is the accounting 212.
It's the accounting 111 and 212. Yeah.
Oh, 111?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm gonna take that in spring.
Okay. So are you taking one in the summer?
I guess I could. I guess.
But you only need one accounting or two?
I guess I'll probably need both.
Okay. So basically, you can apply for the portfolio while you're ready. You have to have everything in black completed, and then you have to be registered in what's in red.
I see.
And the portfolio is kind of a rolling application deadline. So you can basically, it used to be you could only apply for portfolio like twice a year, but now they do kind of rolling. So it's a lot nicer. It's a lot more student friendly that way too.
So I can still apply even if I take accounting 111 in spring. I can apply, not taking the 112, right? As long as I'm.
Well, you need all three accountancies.
I see.
For WP Carey, so you'd have to have like 111 and 112.
Okay, got it.
So like if you did accounting 112 like the first 8 weeks of spring, accounting 112 the second 8 weeks, and then you were registered, and then you have that grade in May, and you're registered for the accounting 212 in the summer, then you can apply to portfolio after the May grades.
I see.
Post. And then other non-skill requirements, psychology 101, or any psychology, social behavioral science, so sociology class, comm class, and English 301 or 302. If you look at the map, are you on a map program?
I think so. They
Okay.
had me sign up. I think last time
If you look at the map, they'll put the SOC and the comm kind of in your map program. If you don't get those here, that's not a problem, because you can always take those as 300 level at ASU. and no matter your business major, you're gonna need some 300 level electives anyway. So
I
if
see.
you don't have Com or Soc here, I probably wouldn't advise you like, oh, make sure you get those.
Okay.
Psych, on the other hand, probably because there's not a 300 level option for psych. So it's something to think of there. Then this is the other options. We'll kind of go over this as well. So if you're not admissible to the business major, so if for some reason you couldn't portfolio in, and you didn't have the GPA, the other questions are like what you want to do with your degree, and then is it more important to graduate as soon as possible or to get the degree that you want? And then do you need a business degree or just any degree, or do you like math? So you already got the math done.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so you're in great shape with math then. So again, sometimes students can get into this thing where, okay, I need the 3.0, but it's gonna take me 12 credits of straight A's, and I've never ever done that in my life. And so there's this whole thing, and that's where like what these questions are designed for.
I see.
So it's like, okay, do you if you need 12 hours, then can you take a year and a half to do it to get there, or what happens there? A lot of times I'll meet students too that maybe they've only taken one math class and they think they want a business degree. So then it's like, okay, is it more important to just get a degree, or does it have to be business degree? So a lot of students will come in and say, okay, I just need a degree to go up in my job, and I just thought a business degree would be a good idea. Then there's definitely other options there. So again, that's where that question comes from. Okay, getting a WP Carey degree could add a calendar year to the expected graduation date. Again, you're not in this position, so that's just kind of the math sequence, the accounting sequence, and again, those classes that you can take at a community college. Again, college is not job training. Most four-year college majors do not train you to do a job. Accountancy is probably an exception. Engineering, nursing, performing arts, maybe education. I'm not even sure about that. And a major tends to give you a world view, and then internships and experience give one a career. Finance is always one I don't know for sure. Like, I don't know that finance really teaches you to do a job, but there's a lot of aspects of finance where it kind of does. So I think finance is kind of an in-between there, but still the key is gonna be internships, job experience, previous experience, and things that you have. That's what's gonna lead you to your career, combined with a degree. So usually a degree by itself isn't what it's all about. And then this is where I kind of get into the WP Carey, like other options. So no one gets a job based on their minor. That's what a business career coach told us one time at WP Carey. But a minor is a great way to organize elective credit hours. It gives a non-business student a piece of academic degree to give the student a business worldview. It's also kind of a bullet point on a resume. It can be a talking point in an interview. So even as going in as a finance major, if you look at different WP Carey minors and certificates, you could do one of these with a finance major or with a business major for the certificates. So a lot of students with finance, finance in particular, let me back up. Not all of these certificates can be done as a WP Carey business student. The applied business and data analytics can, the entrepreneurship and innovation can, the food industry can, international business can, I believe risk management can. Sales and marketing is designed for only non-WP Carey students. The business minor is for non-WP Carey students, but the real estate minor is something WP Carey students can do. Technically, real estate is in the finance department. So a lot of times we'll see finance students actually do a minor in real estate or the minor in applied business and data analytics. That goes really well together if you've got the electives to do it. So those are actually great options to kind of add to your WP Carey degree as well.
Is that statistics, data analysis?
Data analytics is kind of, you have to have one statistics course in it, but your GBS 221 counts as that.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of funny because I probably shouldn't refer to this. I think data analysis is creepy market research.
Okay.
I mean, that's because I'm old.
Okay.
Because I always think of like somebody tracking your
Sure.
cell phone, and like data analytics involves, like a really good example is like a lot of these stadiums. I don't know if the Cardinal Stadium does this or not, but they will literally track your cell phone, like for people
wow.
going to the bathroom
Mm-hmm.
and which bathrooms they go to figure out where to place advertising.
I see.
So a lot of times with data analytics, it's more about mining the data that's already out there and how much is about you on social media and things like that to get good market research. So data analytics is more like, God, what? My wife's looking at these shoes online. How come it's popping up in my Facebook feed?
I see.
And so data analytics is more, again, I call it creepy market research, but that's just the way it's done now. So data analytics is a lot more about that. So it's about mining data that's out there to kind of use that to market research and things like that. So, I even think of probably even selling mutual funds with financial advisors and things like that.
Okay.
That's probably a valued tool there as well.
And you said you have to have a minor, right, to be in the WP Carey?
You don't have to.
Oh, you don't have to?
No,
Oh.
not at all. WP Carey curriculum is pretty full enough where you don't have to have a minor, but a minor is also a good way. You'll have some electives when you go to WP Carey, so you may have 14 credit hours of upper division electives that you need. A lot of times the certificates are typically going to be about 18 credits.
I see.
So maybe with one extra class, you could get a certificate. But I'll show you some of these. Actually, I'll show you these certificates later on, and I'll show you the classes that you need, and that might clear it up for you more too.
Okay.
As well as that one. I'll wait to show you that on there. So the business minor, again, that's for non-WP Carey students. So if you were here, you've got accounting 211, maybe accounting 212, or you've got macro micro econ. Basically, if you weren't in the WP Carey School of Business, 4 more classes would give you a business minor at ASU. The real estate minor, again, this is a pretty common one that students will take. It's 12 hours of real estate classes, so it's real estate 380, 401, 411, and 456. I used to be able to tell you what those classes were, but I can't remember. I know 380 is introduction. One of those is, I can't even remember. And then you've got 6 hours, so there's 2 classes with a 60 course option list. So it could be an urban planning class, it could be something else as well. So that's what the real estate minor looks like. Sales and marketing essentials, again, this is for non-WP Carey students. So basically, it's the marketing 390, marketing 391, and then choose 9 hours of marketing. So you would choose 3 classes off that list of 5, basically. The other thing, since you're already thinking WP Carey, one of the reasons why this isn't there as a minor for students that are in WP Carey is because the marketing major is 9 classes anyway, so it's easier to double major than to actually get the certificate.
I
So
see.
you could double major in finance and marketing, taking about the same amount of classes.
I see.
So that's something. And these marketing classes are designed for non-business students anyway, so they're designed kind of with the fact that you don't have any business background whatsoever. Here's the data analytics certificate, which is 18 credit hours, but as a business student, you've already got CIS 105 done, and your statistics, your GBS would be your statistics course. So for you, 4 classes would get you that certificate. So when you transfer to ASU and the College of Business, you're gonna need at least that many upper division electives. So instead of like, oh, I'll take a history class, I'll take this class, I'll take that class, if you wanted the certificate, you could just take those 4 CIS classes and have finance major with data analytics certificate.
And I have to have a certificate.
You don't.
Oh, I don't.
No,
Okay.
that's optional.
That's optional.
But it's a good way to kind of organize or focus your electives.
I see.
If it's something that you're interested in. International business, you have to study abroad to do international business. You have to have a 2.5 GPA, foreign language proficiency. You have to take 2 or 1 of these international business, either international management or international econ. Then you take 2 more international business classes, and then you take 3 like global awareness type classes for the international business certificate. Then the other ones, there's an entrepreneurship and innovation certificate, food industry, marketing and management, that's at Polytechnic campus. Risk management is also at Poly. So those are other opportunities for business certificates. And again, so the minor advising, basically, there's not much advising that WP Carey does with minors, is you just take the classes off the check sheet,
I see.
and then you're good. Options if you can't get into WP Carey is interdisciplinary studies. So interdisciplinary studies is a great way to give a student a business degree without necessarily going through like WP Carey. There's no GPA requirement. It also doesn't require the math, but again, you've got the math done, so you're in great shape. But there's several different business options. Basically, interdisciplinary studies, you're kind of designing your own major with 2 different concentrations. It does require an internship, and only like the math requirement needs to be. So if you took college algebra at that like a couple years ago, and you're like, okay, I'm done with math, this would be a great option for you.
I see.
And then with interdisciplinary studies, you could do like business and communication concentrations, and then you could do that sales and marketing certificate that we talked about earlier. You could do business and real estate, then add the sales and marketing certificate. You could do business and special events management. You could do sales and marketing, special events management, but there's a lot of great different combinations. Ironically, before I worked for WP Carey, I advised in this major as well. My daughter actually graduated with this major, and she did concentrations in sociology and psychology, and then she did a history minor with it. So she did something totally different. The University of Arizona, the Ella College of Management has a 2.75 GPA requirement, so not as high as ASU. Then also, University of Arizona has interdisciplinary studies options in the Phoenix area and Tucson, and Sue actually just gave me information on that as well. So I know they're building those interdisciplinary studies options. Northern Arizona, the College of Business up there, the W.A. Franke College of Business, has a 2.75 automatic admission, and then they'll admit students that are 2.5 to 2.75 based on space. So they'll just kind of, as they fill the space, if their space stops at 2.6 GPA, then that's fine. But 2.75 is automatic. Then if they got space over, they'll admit going down. Northern Arizona does have interdisciplinary studies options in the Phoenix area and Flagstaff as well. And then Grand Canyon has a little bit different requirements. It's Colangelo College of Business, but they don't have a 3.0 GPA requirement. So if you're admitted to Grand Canyon, you're able to pursue a business degree there, which isn't necessarily true with ASU. So with ASU, you can be admitted to ASU, but you need that 3.0 for WP Carey.
Or the portfolio.
Or the portfolio, yes.
What's the rate? I mean, does someone doing a portfolio equal someone who has the GPA stats and stuff, or do they look at people who have the GPA numbers first and then?
If you're automatically in, you're in. And the way I typically describe it, and it may not be exactly like this, is that they're kind of looking at space. So if the finance department had, had 100 students graduate, it'd be higher than that. But if they had 100 students graduate and then 75 were admitted by direct admit, they're thinking, okay, what's the best 25 students that have applied through portfolio to be in that major?
I see.
And then each major has their own faculty group that looks at it. So each major can be a little bit different as well.
I see.
Like finance and it's also based on competitiveness, because more students want to be finance and accounting majors. Like if you look at the portfolio admissions, those GPAs are higher. So that's what you're looking at. So it's for finance majors, sometimes it's easy. It's a lot easier to get in by direct admit if you just have the 3.0 and get that 25 ACT score. When I was advising at ASU, I actually had a couple students in this situation. They were business law majors, and so they didn't meet direct admit for finance. And so I remember I had this one student, I think it was his third time taking the ACT to get in. And his GPA was always like at 3.0, 3.2, 2.9. And so he contacted me after taking the residual ACT, I think it was the third time. He got the 25, and he had a grade just posted in March because he was taking one B session class, and he was a 3.01, and boom, I could change him to finance.
Mm-hmm.
Now, and he might have never had a 3.0 GPA for the rest of his career until he graduated, but because he had that at that moment, I could change him to finance, where he would have probably never gotten in by portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
So portfolio for accounting and finance, they really look at the GPAs heavily, and so they're looking at, okay, does the person have a 3.6 GPA or whatever. Now in your case, you're a little bit different because you're wanting them to focus on the GPA you've got now versus the one you had before.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've got that 25 ACT, which is direct admission, and with all your transfer stuff, you're looking at like a 2.9, that's when that portfolio you focus on, okay, when I was focused, came back to school, my GPA is this, I've gotten A's in accounting or B's, pluses, or
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, and that's what you focus on.
I
in
see.
that portfolio. Now, having said that, supply chain management, which is the #2 program in the country, they're not looking so hard at GPAs. Like their philosophy in that department is, you know what, GPA doesn't mean you're gonna necessarily be a great supply chain management person. So they're looking at other variables. They're looking at, hey, what experiences have you had? Have you gotten to know the professor for Supply Chain 300? So they're looking at other things besides that. And then if you look at like computer information systems and data analytics majors, they're the least competitive because nobody wants to get those. And so typically we see students that maybe have a 2.5 GPA get admitted through portfolio.
So it really all depends on the need and the desire for the major.
Yeah, and it can change every semester.
Oh, that's interesting.
So one semester there might be 200 people applying for finance portfolio, and another semester they might be 30.
I see.
So it's not consistent. Like we used to actually get, each time they would do a portfolio round, we would get the data to see what the average GPA was of people that got in each major, and it was different every time. So, but every time too, finance and accounting were the most competitive. Then it's kind of supply chain, marketing, management in the middle, and then it's CIS, data analytics kind of at the bottom.
Now, I understood that supply chain management was both a business and an engineer together. Is that correct? Because I understood they had to take math. They had to take Calc 2, and then they also had to take the Calc that engineers take. So the Calc that business majors take and the Calc that engineers
Not
take.
for a straight supply chain major.
Okay.
There might be like a double major program that's been created between engineering and supply chain, but for a straight supply chain major,
You don't need to do that. Okay.
No.
All right.
And the other thing that's not really in here too is like the BA majors. So I don't know how familiar you are with WP Carey, but the BA majors are the non-traditional where you just need the 3.0. And so sometimes it's easier to get into a BA major than it is to portfolio into the BSs, because that BA doesn't require the ACT score either. And actually, like West Campus has a logistics major that's through the supply chain management program. So it's a lot easier to get into, and it's like a fantastic degree, because you're still getting a degree, you're getting a logistics degree from the number 2 supply chain program in the country, but you don't have to have an ACT score. So there's also a sports business major, it's a BA major, but that's all through the Department of Marketing. So again, there's some really neat options and different ways to go.
I see.
Once you get there. But definitely set up an appointment with me after the semester starts and you get registered for those accounting classes. We can talk more about specifically, kind of look at where you're at.
And you said every 6 weeks they have the ACT test, or you can take it
Actually,
every.
you can take it every 6 weeks.
I see.
Yeah, they offer them like once or twice a week, like essentially about every week. So, and then the other person I talked to is Sharon Ang. She's like the WP Carey admissions rep. And I think she comes, I don't know if it's every Tuesday, but I think she's here sometimes on Tuesdays. There's a schedule for her as well. Her picture's on the
around,
yeah. Too, so. But yeah, you can definitely talk to her. But I work with Sharon in advising, so like I know her really well as well. But yeah. Other questions or anything?
No, I just really want to get into WP Carey.
Yeah.
I really have my heart set on that, and I only live like 1 block from ASU, so it's convenient.
How far
I live on University in Hardy.
Okay.
So not very far.
Okay, yeah, not very far at all.
And yeah, actually my first love is actually economics, but the last person, the representative for WP Carey, said that usually people who major in economics have to get a doctoral degree, or at least if they want. And I'm like, oh, that's another 12 years of schooling. I can't do that.
Yeah, econ's different because there's 2 ways to go with econ at ASU, because you can actually get an econ major through the liberal arts college, but you've got less business classes, or you can get an econ major through WP Carey, which has that more econ. And econ is another one, the portfolio wise is less competitive.
Oh, really?
Than finance and accounting. So if you're at the point where you have to portfolio and you love econ anyway, I would say you can put 2 choices. So you could put finance as your first choice, and you could put econ as your backup.
I see.
And then both departments will look at it. So that's another option as well.
And you said it's once you get in, you're in.